Hello, everyone. My name is Ricardo Guerrero, back again with episode 4 on the Yazidi genocide. For this episode, I'll be going over the overall end of the genocide, specifically how it ended and the resulting reaction that came with it. Technically, you can mark two events in which ended the genocide. Firstly, the ending of ISIS persecuting the Yazidi ended in 2017. During this year, all active members of ISIS were no longer actively hunting down Yazidi in order to fulfill their goals of ethnic cleansing. However, ISIS still held control over the territory around Sinjar, meaning Yazidi still weren't able to return home without encountering resistance. This ended 2 years after ISIS's end of prosecution, where, according to the USCIRF, in 2019, the Global Coalition to Defeat ISIS, which includes the United States and its local partners, liberated all territory controlled by ISIS in Iraq and Syria. However, the lives and homes of Yazidi genocide survivors remain in peril, with over 360,000 in displacement camps throughout Iraq and Syria. ISIS maintains a presence in Yazidi populated areas, and Turkey continually wages military attacks on Sinjar. This meant that although the genocide may formally have ended since 2019, as ISIS is no longer present in the area, there are still victims who are under ISIS control through forced marriage or slavery, meaning that the plight of the Yazidi is still present. Moreover, not a single conspirator or perpetrator of the genocide has been caught and put into trial, meaning that justice and resolve still has not been given to the victims. Even more so, many Yazidi were left traumatized after the event, refusing to return back home in Sinjar and instead sought refuge in neighboring countries where they were provided aid, such as Turkey, Syria, and Greece. In result, the genocide lasted between 3 to 5 years, with its effects still lingering today. The official end to the genocide, being the year 2019, was when the global coalition overwhelmed ISIS forces, forcing them to evacuate Sinjar and leaving the Yazidi free to return to their home. In action, the global coalition was able to liberate 42,000 square miles, addressing the root cause of support for ISIS through targeted justice and accountability, destroying 100% of ISIS fraudulent territorial caliphate, and removing Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, an ISIS leader, in October 2019, as per the U.S. Department of State. The U.S. and the other UN members hope to preserve the Yazidi culture and their right to live as time goes on, ensuring their safety and support through humanitarian organizations. Other UN members such as Syria, Libya, Turkey, and Greece. After the end results, the genocide brought many victims out of their homes, out of their families, and out of their own freedom. According to Amnesty International, over 5,000 people were killed and over 400,000 people were displaced from them. To date, more than 2,800 Yazidi women and children are still held captive by the Islamic State or remain missing. Further statistics show that an estimated 2.5% of the Yazidi population was either killed or kidnapped over the first few days of the genocide in 2014, making up 9,900 people to have been direct victims. Moreover, an estimated 3,100 Yazidis were killed, according to the National Library of Medicine. The lives of these 3,100 would go down in execution, where they were either shot, beheaded, burned alive, starved, and dehydrated. Finally, the estimated number of kidnappings is 6,800, with many still missing. These statistics are the minimum to what Iraq has documented, since many families have vanished without a trace, giving way to the tragedy being greater than initially thought to be. Finally, the number of people who were killed during action in stopping the Yazidi genocide is unfortunately unknown due to a lack of documentation and complex nature of the conflict. Many of the fighters were Yazidi themselves, and since they were undocumented fighters, their deaths couldn't be accounted for. As the genocide finally finished, the Iraqi government was compelled in securing the safety of the Yazidi citizens, creating laws and bills in which aimed to support them through their post-struggles. One of these laws came to be the Yazidi Female Survivors Law, where, according to Gacia Ojanes, a writer at the German-owned broadcaster DW, the law pledges to aid victims of the Islamic State, primarily Yazidi female survivors who were kidnapped and later freed, but also members of other minorities who suffered the same fate. This assistance comes in the scope of a monthly salary, psychological rehabilitation, and forms of restitution in education, employment, and property. Furthermore, public awareness has been made about the genocide, with survivors having taken the global stage to share their stories, raising awareness of the atrocities committed. One of these survivors being Nadia Murad, a Yazidi survivor mentioned in a previous episode where she describes her traumatic experience of cruelty and slavery during captivity. Hopefully, we will not only learn from the traumatic experience of those who suffered through the genocide, but also learn of the outcome and how we can further assist these victims by making their stories known.